Hey guys, don't forget to hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you can be notified every time I come up with a new video. Hey guys, what's up? Thank you so much for coming back. I'm Arpitabahl and I welcome you back to the Crazy Wisdom. Alright, so today we'll be talking about the compatibility of the fourth ones in line, Cancerians, and we'll be looking into how well or not so well they are with the other people of the Zodiac group. So what is the wait for? Put on your thinking caps and your wisdom boots. Let's get on and shoot. Alright, so when an Aries comes into the picture, the fun part sort of gets affected because, as we all know, a Cancerian is a typical home bird that we'll ever come across. You know, they like going out, but they also want to stay back inside their homes and in their dens for the same amount of time, if not more, in order to balance their energies out. But an Aries is not like that. They're just opposite to this, and they are just out and out for a lot of things, for a majority of things in their life. Love works out a little better because, a Cancerian is a very passionate person by heart, and an Aries will find homage there because passion is their keyword as well. But one place where these two have to be careful about is when an Aries impulsiveness collides with a Cancerian's mood swings, because that can be a dangerous part and it can actually go out to become a deal breaker if they're not careful about it. The area of work again here does not work that well because a Cancerian is a very slow and steady and a very, very cautious person when it comes to investing their money or when it comes to taking a professional step forward. Whereas an Aries is very, very action oriented and impulsive, and thinking about things is probably one of the last things that they do. And it sort of turns out like the Cancerian water element sort of fizzles out the Aries fire here. So this alliance does not work out that well. Now when a Taurus comes in, the fun part sort of goes way up because a Taurian and a Cancerian are basically the travelers of the same boat. Both of them are introverts, both of them want to enjoy with their critical set of people, and both of them are more reserved, calm and cozy rather than they are crazy, and therefore they work out very, very well together. Love again goes way up because a Taurus is a strong, dependable wall for a Cancerian who can control a Cancerian during their emotionally weak moments very, very well, and a Cancerian on the other hand, and their art of remembering the smallest details and the small little likes and dislikes of their Taurian partner sort of seals the deal there. Work again works amazingly well because both of them are excellent at brain work and they're very, very calculative, and they want to make loads and loads of money while maintaining a strong and firm base for themselves. So it again works out brilliantly, and this match is a near perfect match. Now when a Gemini enters into a bond with a Cancerian, in terms of fun, this can erupt fireworks in all the negative directions possible, because a Gemini is a typical air person. They are unstoppable. They don't like being scolded. They don't like being given directions. They don't like being given a certain set of rules to follow. Whereas a Cancerian is just that, they have those inborn motherly genes, and we know that a mother cannot stop without checking their child if they're into some sort of a mischief, and mischief is the key word for a Gemini. So there's a huge imbalance here. Love again is a very, very risky department because a Cancerian is a very, very emotional person, and their heart is a sort of a very heavy duty heart to handle, and they need to be handled very, very strongly yet very, very firmly, and no one can expect this from a Gemini to do because they do not have the time to mingle with so many emotions and so many sentimental ups and downs. They just cannot do that. Work is a sector that again finds difficulty because a Gemini is a doer. They definitely think and analyze also, but they are quick to perform, and they sort of have a mentality that they put in their efforts into something, they see the result, and then they move on to do something better or do the same thing in a better way. But a Cancerian is not like that because they put in a lot of efforts and a lot of thought and a lot of their time and energy into something, and their life sort of depends on each and everything that they put their hands into. So they cannot move on this fast or this quickly, and therefore again a huge imbalance, and overall this pair does not work out well. Now when two Cancerians come together, because they are two alike, in terms of fun, when both of them decide to remain reserved, they both become the biggest introverts of the world. When both of them decide to cancel the party, both of them do it together. And when both of them decide to sit down and cry their night away in tears, remembering the past and remembering the sad memories, both of them do it together, and this sort of becomes a very difficult situation, especially when their emotional cycles sync because there is no one to help the other person out. Both of them sort of become one and the same thing. So, it sort of becomes very, very gloomy and a very difficult phase to be in. Now love on the other hand works pretty well here, because two Cancerians, they are like soul sisters, you know, though they understand each other very well, and therefore they would be extremely successful in providing a good amount of emotional support to each other. And you know, whenever both of them, either of them or both of them, are in their downward emotional cycle, which a Cancerian faces a lot, you know, again they would understand each other's mental frame of mind, and they would either give each other space, or either, you know, they would give each other a consoling shoulder to lean on and cry. Work on the other hand here can suffer a lot, because with two Cancerians together there would be a lot of thinking, and there would be a lot of safety, and there would be a lot of proofreading of facts and ideas, and because of this they can, you know, miss out on a lot of chances and opportunities because of playing safe. And at the end of the day, there is no push of motivation or no push of doing things quickly, so you know, it sort of does not work that well here. Leo and a Cancerian, now this is fire and water, and this is going to be a rage. You know, see, their ethics do not match at all. A Cancerian is a docile one, and the Leo is the king of the jungle, you know. A Cancerian has a thought process of spreading unconditional love and service to everybody around them, just like a mother does. But a Leo, on the other hand, although somewhere wants the same thing, but they want it for themselves too, and they want it in you know, significant quantities. A Leo would never agree to lose their identity because of helping someone, but a Cancerian can easily do that. A Leo can end up dominating or trying to, you know, over dominate the homely Cancerian, whereas a Cancerian might retreat initially, but then they can lash out at the Leo when their anger rages, and it can be deadly. But you know, again, at the end of the day, a Leo might end up suppressing even the valid points of a Cancerian, because they are very strong and dominating, and they sort of take away the entire attention of the place that they are present at. And because of this, the Cancerian might just retreat, and they might feel that they have lost out on their identity, because they are very soft and very timid. So you know, this is a sort of a crisis situation in their relationship, and they just cannot work well together. Now when a Virgo enters into the picture, in terms of fun, it can really go down and end up being boring, because a Virgo and a Cancerian, both of them somewhere do not like taking initiative, and therefore in the wake of not making the first move, they can end up spoiling the evening together. Now when it comes to love here, you know, it can work pretty well, because a Virgo, although takes a lot of time in saying yes to a person, and a Cancerian is just the same, you know, they want commitment in their life. And although a Virgo's love reflects a lot of seriousness and maturity, which can fizzle out and drain this relationship as well if enough spark is not put in between this bond. But still, you know, there's something in a Virgo's compassion and in their level of commitment, and in their level of sort of being the dependable one in the relationship. They handle a Cancerian pretty well, and you know, all of this as a cumulative effect sort of glues the Cancerian with them. Work again works here pretty well, because you know, both are serious, both are planned workers, and both can wait for a lot of time before they finally take an action, so that they can bring out the best in each other and best in the task. And therefore overall this partnership works you know, in a good way. When a Libran comes into the picture, it can be a bit difficult, because in terms of fun, Cancerian's idea is a bit wavering, because they continuously seek balance between outside and inside, you know, and they are more towards their homes and their dens, whereas a Libra, as we all know, is a completely opposite person. They love to stay outside, they love to breathe fresh air, and they love to go to clubbing, and they love to go to parties, and therefore a huge imbalance is there, and it causes a lot of tension and a lot of difficulties in the bond. In terms of love, again, this relationship suffers, because a Libra is naturally a very charming person, and you know, a Libran is one of the most attractive ones of the entire zodiac, and because of this charm of theirs, they get pulled into the center of things, and especially they're very popular amongst the opposite gender. And this sort of does not you know, stop a Libra from bringing out their flirtatious nature as well. This does not go down well with the Cancerian, because they are all about commitment and loyalty in a relationship, and flirtiness does not come at any point in their list of being in love and being in a relationship. Work, on the other hand, works better here, because you know, a Cancerian brainstorms a lot, lot and thinks a lot before acting, and similar is Libra. They can put in an entire eternity of thought into something before they finally get the assurance that this is going to work out. And therefore overall the aspect of works better in this bond, but overall this relationship sort of suffers. It does not work that well. Now when a Scorpio comes into the picture, in terms of fun, when both of these get together, the real meaning of having the time of one's life comes into reality, because both of them know how to enjoy without all the craziness, how to actually chill without all the drama, and how to actually enjoy each other's company while dancing together on a rooftop without 100 people noticing them. And therefore they actually define the real meaning of enjoyment and having fun, and they work amazingly well together. When it comes to love, a Scorpio is loyal, he's dependable, he's passionate, he's full of love and full of commitment when it comes to their partner, and they are strong enough to provide that huge wall of guard to the security seeking Cancerians. And this sort of an attachment and this sort of a bond and security, both of them cannot get with anyone else, and it is when they fall in love with each other, it is like they found their other self. So it is a perfect match. Work again works out to be the best because the Scorpio is a completely research based and investigative mind, and they go into the depth of things and take out amazing results from that. And this is what a Cancerian truly appreciates, because it acts as a fuel in their partnership together, especially when their work life is concerned. So overall it is a near perfect match to be with. Now when a Sagittarius comes into the picture, it can be a really tricky match to even analyze and study, because both of these people, although are ruled by planets which are each other's best friends and they cannot live without each other, but somehow both of these people are at such different planes that at the end of the day they are not able to find each other. It is like they are traveling in the opposite directions. They just don't come to realize that they can have each other's company. A Sagittarius is a true traveler, whereas with a Cancerian you would find real treasures and real meaning to life when they are inside their homes. A Sagittarius never goes towards emotions, and they stay as away from an emotional encounter and a sentimental encounter as much as possible, whereas a Cancerian is an eternal resident on the emotional platform. A Sagittarius works in a haphazard, happy-go-lucky way, and they do not do the thinking at all unless someone makes them realize their mistake, whereas a Cancerian again always stays on the thoughts first and actions later plane. So again there's no match. So at the end of the day, one might say that if a Sagittarius and a Cancerian come together, they might stay with each other for an eternity. But the possibility of finding each other and finding a common ground is almost zero, and therefore again I would say that this does not work that well. Now when a Capricorn comes into picture, well, how can this bond not work? Because they are situated opposite in the horoscope, and we know that opposites always most definitely attract. Now in terms of fun, it is a perfect smooth match because a Cancerian here finds their mature self, their responsible self, and a Capricorn sort of gives the responsibility to a Cancerian to decide as per their mood as to what they want to do, how they want to chill, how they want to spend the day. And a Cancerian truly finds absolute comfort here because they have that sort of a freedom to decide for the both of them. In terms of love, again we know that a romantic relationship with a Cancerian can be tricky because they go through a lot of emotional upheavals, and at a lot of times it is quite difficult for them to compose. And at this point of time, a Capricorn's Saturn maturity comes into play, and they handle them so well. They handle them with so much responsibility and so much patience that it sort of seals their deal to finality. Work again is near perfect because a Capricorn's commitment and perseverance sort of brings out the best in Cancerian, and both of their brain power sort of mixes well to bring out the best in any project or any task. But one thing that they have to be really careful about in this relationship is that a Capricorn's workaholism and extreme need to be at the top of the things should not collide with a Cancerian's need to chill and relax and be cool and easy breezy. And although they sort of find the other half that is missing from their lives in each other, but still they need to be careful about a few things, otherwise this is a near perfect match. Now when an Aquarius enters into the game, fun can be very, very difficult because for an Aquarians, everything fun is everything unpredictable and everything out of the box and everything that he or she has never ever tried right before. But for a Cancerian, the most important thing in life is stability, security, and predictability. They need to know the things that they are handling. Love again needs no description and no discussion in this relationship, because for an Aquarian, the other name for an Aquarius is emotional detachment. Whenever they find even the E of emotions, they run away as far as possible in the opposite direction, and a Cancerian cannot survive without emotions. So this does not work at all. Work here also goes well only in one condition: when both of them are working for the welfare of the society and for humanity. Otherwise, this area again can be tricky, and overall, this is a very difficult match to be with. And lastly, when a Piscean comes into the picture, fun again works well here, because for both Cancerian and a Piscean, self-enjoyment and togetherness and a feeling of having fun together is much more important than a public display of your life and of your fun times and of your enjoyment. Love here, on the other hand, can be a little tricky in a lot of scenarios, because a Pisces, as we all know, is another sign that is quite emotional, and they need a lot of compassion and a lot of care and a lot of emotional support, especially when they run away and when they want their me time. And at that point of time, a Cancerian can feel a bit lonely and feel a bit detached from the entire relationship. But again, at the end of the day, both of them have a lot of compassion, both of them have a lot of hidden feelings for each other, and both of them sort of know how to keep the bond together. Work, on the other hand, runs pretty well, because both of them sort of provide a support to each other. With a Cancerian's motivation and with their support, a Piscean can bring out the best in their creativity, and this creatively inclined output from a Piscean's side and their imaginative ideas and their out of the box thinking can actually work wonders for a Cancerian's toned down or a Cancerian's predictable and mainstream project, and take it to another level altogether. So they work pretty well, and overall it is a good enough match to be. Alright guys, so with this I put a wrap on today's video. I hope you liked it, and don't forget to leave a cute little thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel in order to remain updated with all the latest news on zodiacs, astrology and motivation. And with this, I'll be seeing you again too soon, but don't forget to be crazy and wise until we meet for the next time. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.